Hey there, guys. Jupiter in the 8th here. And I want to talk today about the positive side of a lot of this conspiracy and Jade Helm and all this other stuff. Because there is a positive side to all this. I mean, not that in and of itself, or if this stuff is true, or if war is about to break out, or who knows, whatever. Um, the positive side, and I'm just going to give it to you and then I'll talk about it, okay? The positive side is that you should have been preparing for a situation like this anyway. You see, we should have never lost the ways of our great grandparents. A great grandparent, I don't know, whatever. 3 generations back or so, starting about then, 3-4 generations back. They didn't have refrigeration, people. I mean, don't get technical. You know, at some point back, they didn't have refrigeration. Okay, prepping. What we would consider like survival prepping, which that's what it is. And I'm not talking about the extreme. I'm talking about just canning and jarring goods. I'm talking about growing your own garden. I'm talking about that's it. Those two things right there. Or going out to these farms that provide you pick. You know, like right now it's July 17th, 18th, 2015. Okay, I picked blueberries. I'm just getting started into this stuff. Because what I realized is that instead of sitting around watching videos, okay, thinking about it, there's actions you can actually take to be positive. And canning and jarring, by the way, and all this other stuff, it's more than just survival. I mean, that's the kind of the foundation of it. Like, yeah, our great grandparents needed to do this in order to survive. But right now, we don't need that to survive. We have the stores, whatever. But why not go out and buy, go out to, most of you probably are just buying from regular stores, okay? But, if you get into the whole local and organic food movements, you'll probably find somewhere in your area or somewhere nearby, there's probably a local a local organic co-op where they will let you order food in bulk, okay? Or you go to Costco, I mean, whatever, but because I have boxes of rice. Some of them are a little bit outdated, but again, I did that originally. I did that. It wasn't for fear. I was just trying to save money. So that's the other side of this. There's positive things beyond just, oh, I'm prepping for the end of the world or whatever. Okay, because it's not just that. It's having delicious food, knowing you have delicious food regardless of the external systems, regardless of your own personal. What if you get injured and you can't produce income, right? And you need what if you just something happened to you and you needed 3 months to just recuperate or whatever the food system, there's a hiccup in our oil or food systems. There's so many things that can go wrong. Okay, we should have never been this dependent upon these systems. We should have never gotten this dependent. And if you go hungry, or you end up, one of your family members or you ends up, getting injured or dying or getting stuff stolen from you, if any of this comes to fruition, all this negative stuff, guess what? It's your fault. And you're going to be thinking to yourself, I wish I had done something. Well, the truth is we should have been doing this all along. This knowledge should have never been lost. We should all always be thinking in terms of savings, not just financial savings, right? Because that can be chipped away at. That can be taken away from you, literally, just taken away. That can be, the value of money you have no control over that. That's not under your control. And I'm not suggesting you don't earn money the normal way. I'm suggesting you do you participate in the matrix, in the world, in the marketplace. Go and do what you do, make money, right? You need currency is our way of trading things today. But also, behind the scenes, you should be prepping food. You should be, buying like rice or pasta. Or even if when you go to the store, okay, you're buying something, pasta or something, buy an extra bag. I've been doing that as well. I go, to the store. I buy an extra bag. It's an extra $3. It's an investment in the future. But also, I'm probably going to end up eating it anyway. So it's, you see what I'm saying? Forget the fear and all that stuff. and turn this into a positive thing for yourself. Okay? Because imagine and forget again. Let's let go of the fear and all that prepping stuff. Isn't it just imagine your confidence, okay? The good feeling you're going to have inside, knowing that you're taken care of for the future. I mean, we pay for all this stuff, life insurance, health insurance, da 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 da. We pay for all this stuff, but do you have food to eat? Shouldn't that have been the first investment that you were making? And this is a seasonal, yearly thing. We need to start viewing things the way our ancestors did. Okay, starting around April, March, April, May. That's planned. This you start planning stuff. You start ramping up for planting season, right? During February, you're starting to make your plans for growing season. Okay, or even if you're not into that, even as things come to harvest, like right now it's blueberries, right? Or about a month ago it was strawberries, okay, and other stuff too. You should be out, either one, you should be buying those things in bulk, okay, because you can just do that and go to Costco or whatever, or you can go out and pick them. And I got what I estimated to be like $140 to $180 worth of blueberries for $10 and an hour of my time. And it was enjoyable being out there on the farm picking the blueberries. It was enjoyable. So it doesn't have to. And by the way, that's like technically the farm I went to had used natural growing methods. So technically that's basically organic. It's not literally organic certified, but because they don't bother paying for the certification. But that's as long as you trust these people, which they're local people. Right? If they poisoned you, you could go down and look them in the eye. Who do you trust more? Some farmer in another country or another state across your country, or someone who's literally 10 miles down the road, 5 miles down the road? Right? So this stuff is pretty basic, but we've gotten away from it. And I don't know what's going to happen. None of us, you don't actually know what's going to, unless you're in, unless you're in the system and you're part of the planning process. We don't really know what's going to happen, people. So instead of dwelling on it, instead of letting it linger as a fear, let it guide you back to the things that would have been making you confident and feel good anyway. Imagine you knew right now you were good for a year. Because, when you can and jar stuff, most of that stuff, a lot of that stuff is good for up to a year. There are many methods and many things I'm not going to go into. It's just the overall point. But imagine knowing you're good for a year. You could survive. Maybe you might be a little bit hungry. You might be eating rice. You might have to, you may have to just sit around and kind of do nothing or read a book or, while the world goes to shit, whatever. But you're fine. You can just chill in your house. Yeah, you're gonna have to go out and get water, and you're probably actually gonna go out and get to know your neighbors, right? But prepare the way you should be doing anyway, and then guess what? You're gonna have food regardless of your emergency or the world's emergency or whatever. You got food, people. And if more of you do this, right? And there's a reason I'm putting this message out. It is, frankly, I wish people around me would prepare too, because guess what? Who wants their neighbors? People are going to turn on each other in a food shortage situation. People are going to turn on each other. They're going to rob each other. They're going to kill each other. They're going to eat each other. Literally, people. It's happened before. You don't want to think about it, but it's happened. Right? During the whole Nazi, whatever, and they were fucking with the farms. And I this is, again, it's very vague. Look it up, research it yourself. There's pictures. People were eating people. People will do what they need to do to survive. Okay? And it's a harsh reality. But again, it's more reason you need to prep. You also want your neighbors to prep. Right? You don't want it to be like a one-up thing, like I'm prepared and you're not. Dude, you want your neighbors to be prepared just like you are. because then they won't be coming knocking on down your door. Or at a minimum, you won't have to lock yourself in, right? Because that might be the case. Kind of like using the extreme of that Will Smith movie. I don't know the name of it, where he's basically the only human survivor in New York or something. Do you want to be that only guy and you got hungry, sick people aggressively banging down your door? They figured out that you have food, or someone spread the word that you have food, right? And then they're just gonna raid your house. We don't want that chaos. There's a simple solution, everybody. Prepare yourself, and then start spreading the word. And again, this is all, and you don't have to talk. I don't recommend you speak in terms of the worst case scenario. I mean, you may want to mention it, right? But spread the word. Hey, let's be prepared. This is just like talking about saving money, people. Except money can be taken away from you. Money, the value of money can be chipped away. It's not under your control. But guess what? No one can, other than someone breaking into your house and taking it, no one's going to take that from you. Food, just having the food. But even if none of this pans out, even if the world's hunky-dory and continues on, you're going to be getting up in the morning. There's going to be a cleansing, healthy feeling, a confident, right? And you're also going to have clarity of thought about the world, and you're going to see the bad things and the good things, right? Because you're willing to. See, most of you right now aren't willing to see that you are not ready for this type of situation. And I'm not trying to spread fear. I'm trying to resolve the fear that everyone else is spreading. Yes, but you need to be a little bit afraid. You need to be a little bit motivated. But here's the point: instead of sitting around watching videos or reading about it and dwelling on it, go today and start taking action. Pick something to do that's positive. Take an hour or two to say, oh, I'm going to spend an hour. I'm going to go out to the store and maybe pick some stuff. And that way, you're just doing a little task. You're just doing a little task that's preparing you. And I'm receiving signs right now. I probably shouldn't even talk about that, but again, this is not definitive, but I do have to convey what I believe I'm receiving, and I've also received through a teacher of mine, okay, that there is a date that we have to be prepared by, and that's 11/11, November 11th, okay, and you can look in the person I'm. Not only am I receiving that from someone, but I'm also receiving signs, and I'm a very intuitive person. Jupiter in the 8th, I receive secrecy. I literally attract it, like not just like from the television screen where I choose what I watch, but people like open up to me, like tell me things like they don't tell anybody else for some reason. It used to be uncomfortable for me, but now I'm just like, oh, and I'm just trying to be a very understanding person. But like people tell me their secrets. It's like, or if they don't tell me their secrets, I intuit them and sense them, and it's not like me bragging. It wasn't like some kind of joyous path that led me here. It was a very painful path. So I'm not bragging. I'm not like whatever. It just is what it is. I have an intuition. But November 11th, 2015, for some reason, I don't know why, that seems to be the date. And I haven't proven that out astrologically or anything like that. I'm receiving that. So, but I mean, in reality, it's not November. November seems like a good time because that's when, we'll be done pulling up all of our root vegetables. You can't grow. I mean, right now, July 15th was the cutoff date for planting a lot of things. Okay. And I was out there July 15th planting root vegetables and on my buddy's farm, and I live in a condo, so I also have stuff outside. I wish I had a full garden. I'm working on that. If the world doesn't go to shit next year, I hope to turn an entire area of my condo community into a garden. Right? Why? One, because we want. And then forget this fear stuff. I just want to have healthy food right outside my door. The nutrients are right there. Boom, you cut it off, you bring it in, you make dinner. Okay? That should have been the way you want at least once in a while. Okay, maybe not every day. It's not necessarily sustainable right now. And no, most of you can't just go out and start doing that. But you start small, people. Don't go watching these videos of people with these massive. I mean, do it as inspiration of maybe with the direction you want to head in. But don't get all, well, it just isn't doable, and I gotta go to my job. Okay, you go to your job. Come home, take care of the kids. Set aside an hour or so every week. Plant something, can something, do something, and view it as a learning process. Purchase some stuff in bulk that lasts. Like I just when I was at Costco and I saw chia seeds. And I looked at their expiration date. It's like 2 years out or something. Okay, organic chia seeds. Okay, I eat organic. Right? They can be planted, and I think they can just be eaten. I'm pretty sure. I haven't even looked into it. Yeah, just a couple bucks. Why not? Nice big bag of them. And now I've got it. And so what if they sit on the shelf and I have to throw them out a couple years from now? So what? Right? I've got rice. The rice is good for storing. Okay. Actually, I bought that rice over a year ago. I think the best use date is actually passed. I just had some today. It was fine. It's not, and most you say, ugh, but guess what, dude? You're thinking in terms of the world of convenience. You need to warm yourself up maybe a little bit here and there, not every day. Warm yourself up to, eating. Can you imagine eating some fruits without washing them? Oh my Lord. Like, yeah, it's not healthy, but guess what? Maybe you should get yourself used to it for a minute. Right, just for once, just to mix things up, to add a little chaos. Are you prepared for a shakeup, regardless of what it is? Are you ready for that? Or in just in terms of even if our local areas were just fine, right, and things kind of maybe the U.S. gets segmented. Let's just talk about that scenario, and maybe things are fine and people are a little bit hungry, but we're eating or whatever. You would start to learn that your body and mind shouldn't have been so dependent on an out of season diet. In other words, you shouldn't have been dependent on maybe you eat bananas all the time, or you eat this or that all the time, and that's like a staple to your diet. Well, guess what? You're depending upon the transportation system and the oil systems, and you're depending on tons of different systems that may have hiccups. They may crash. They may have hiccups. The prices may go up, whatever. Just by itself, dependency. Let's just forget it. Just let go of the dependency and begin just practicing in small, tiny ways personal sustainability. It's just simple. We should have been doing it anyway. So go do it. And I promise you the rewards in and of themselves. Okay, the joy and by the way, this doesn't have to be you necessarily. Okay, if you're married, maybe it's your partner, or maybe it's you, right? Or maybe your mother, who's retired is whatever. Maybe your family gets together and you have a meeting. You say, okay, look, yeah, on one hand, we're concerned with where the world's going and what might happen, and we just want to be prepared just in case. You want to be able to feed the kids, you want to be able to feed ourselves. We don't want to be running around like maniacs and have this emergency. And it's investing in whatever. You don't know what's going to happen just with yourself, anything. Okay, anything. And maybe you say you have a designated gardener, maybe you have a designated can and jar person, right? I mean, I know this is totally out of the box thinking, but it's not really out of the box. It's actually only our last 3 generations that have forgotten about this. We've gotten addicted to the convenience, which simultaneously is an addiction to horrible food, which in my opinion is part of like a eugenics project to like filter out and weed out the people, just people whose minds aren't clear. But in reality, to me though, and that's the view of the people I believe that are perpetuating this. Honestly, that's not my view. Okay, my view is these lesser people who they see as being lesser, right? probably would just be as powerful, or the power would be spread out. The influence would be spread out, right, amongst more people. The wealth would be spread out if everyone was eating healthy. Okay, but we've gotten addicted to convenience. The value of our money has been constantly chipped away at for generations, and that's the current pressure, the pressure of the world. It's like, it's most people can't even like have one parent stay home with the kids anymore. Okay, unless that was a major priority from the get go for you, and you planned for it, and you prepared for it, and you didn't have children until you were ready for it. But that's not the world we live in. People are just having kids. People are just financing their education, just financing this, financing that, mortgaging their house. What's a mortgage? It's a death mortgage. It's like the French. I forgot the mortier. It's based on the word death. I mean, whatever. That's. Is that what they were thinking? I don't know. But anyways, I mean, you're essentially selling yourself. I mean, no one's actually being pulled into slavery, but it's a different form of slavery. It's like it's not even slavery, but we really need a new name for it. Is what we need. You're really a some people call it a wage slave. You're a production unit. That's how they view you. They view you in units, right? And that's how it's become. You have become a commodity. You have become like pigs to them, to people who are way up. And then in some ways you have to, not to the degree which these disgusting people have fucked with us, but to a certain extent you have to kind of admit though that the higher up you go, the scope. And this is just me being objective, by the way. The higher up you go, the more your scope has to spread out. The more that's how you have to function. I don't agree with tons of stuff that they do, but you do have to respect the fact that they do sort of have to view things from that perspective. That's understandable. But many of these people are just horrible people, and they don't care about you. They don't care about people. They don't even care about the fact that, and this is just my opinion, but they would actually be wealthier. Everyone would be wealthier, including the people at the top, if you would let us thrive. See, what they fear is that what they fear, like the whole Illuminati, okay, let's just pretend this is the hierarchy of the world and how it works, right? The whole pyramid thing. What they fear is they fear you. Oh, okay. They fear you climbing up. And that's also understandable. I mean, what's not understandable is the extent they go to push us down. But you have to admit, I need to just back up for a second. Again, this is just trying to be objective. You have to admit, and you may even experience this if you're an employer. You may even experience this to a degree, even if you're a good person and you're an employer or you're above people in some way, shape, or form. You have to admit that it crosses your mind when you're dealing with people that, oh wait, this person, he might try and take my position. He may come even against me or even work against me amongst the ranks. I'm the boss, and so you have to let's be understanding and empathetic too, as well, because I mean these people and even their children are born into like these positions of power, and it's not serving us to be too so angry. And I'm not saying don't take action and all that, whatever, but let's at least understand the situation for what it is, okay? Because that helps to open up the possibility of building the bridge, the possibility of resolving these issues, these cultural issues, in a peaceful way, in a gentle way, right? It doesn't have to be some uprising. It doesn't have to be a big slam attack. It doesn't have to be a crash, such a large crash that everyone's screwed, okay? It doesn't have to be that. I don't know what it will or if anything's even going to happen at all. And that's the other possibility too. And I'm sorry I keep on posing possibilities to you, but I am an objective person. I am not committed to any of these You know, you got these people running around with their fucking heads cut off, like just the world's gonna end, and they know exactly what's going to happen. They get an idea in their head and they go around on YouTube and go out and shout these ideas out. At a minimum, well, at a minimum, maybe they're just preparing. Think about it that way. The people who are higher up, maybe they're preparing. Maybe they're, regardless of, forget the debate about what's going on and whether it's good or bad, or forget that and what's all ideal, what should be, right? Let's let that go. Maybe they're scared of the reality of people rising up against them in anger. It's happened over the course of history. Maybe they're just preparing all their tunnels and all these things, and you got these Walmart centers that are shutting down for months on end all over the country. And some people, this is not me. I don't know whether or not it's all real or not, but some people are saying that there's, they got tunnels that lead to these Walmart centers. Maybe not, I don't know. But there certainly are tunnels and underground places. But again, that's also just preparedness for our country. Now, I think what bothers most people is that we're not a part of that. You're not in the know, or, unless maybe you or your family is like part of the, people who are building these things or whatever. I think what bothers us is that the scenario where, whatever, you get it. Like, we're not going to be able to survive, and they're going to be sitting in their little caves. Whatever. I mean, if its situation is that bad, I mean, do you really want to live? I mean, if you believe in another life, afterlife, or whatever, do you really want to live more here, longer? If it's going to be such a shitty scenario. I mean, you will have the instinct to survive, and you will fight, but again, and we don't know if any of this is real. They're preparing, so why don't you prepare? I'm sure they would appreciate if you prepared. I mean, granted, they should just not be fucking taking all of our money and taxes and all these other issues that we bitch about. But set all that aside for a minute. Let's just fucking prepare. Prepare yourself. Take it. Hey, that may be what they're pushing us towards. They may also be pushing us. And again, some of these people may have a eugenics perspective where, kind of filtering out the weak. It's possible. There's all sorts of things. Aliens. There's who knows what it really all is and where it all really comes from. But none of that shit. I'm going to leave you with this. None of that shit matters if you would just prepare yourself. Do what you can do this year, right? Canning. And you can't really rely on your freezer or fridge because it's obviously, if the power goes out, it's not going to help you too much. All right, I'm tired. Excuse my scruffiness, but I was just watching some videos on Jade Helm, and I just wanted to put out the positive perspective on this. And the positive, I want to get you guys through the rabbit hole of, in this kind of self-loathing about the world, because that is the inevitable consequence of people who actually dig into this information and research it. Is it's really self-loathing because you look at the world and you start looking at it for what it is. You look at the realities of it's ridiculous. The taxes are ridiculous. The amount taxes themselves aren't ridiculous. The amount of taxes, and then where that money goes to, and just all the people who are just sucking off of us. It's just not sustainable, people. And I'm not even coming from the angry perspective anymore. I'm coming from this can't last. And this is me saying, if I had to speak to the people who are doing it, like it's not gonna work. It's not gonna last. It can't last. You know what I'm saying? Going in this direction, further in this direction, only causes more problems. And I get you want to protect yourself. I get, everyone wants to survive. But just remember, that's everyone. You know, like, have a heart. But most of these people don't have hearts. They're just ruthless at the very, very top. But again, have empathy for them, even if there is a small amount of whatever left, empathy or human part of them. They themselves want to protect themselves and their families. So just remember that. Remember that when you watch all this stuff. That even if you were born into one of these situations of being in a wealthy family, you would pretty much automatically just be protecting yours and your own. And why wouldn't you? But that's my point, people. You should be doing the same instead of dwelling on it again and spending all your time watching, conspiracy theory videos. I do advocate you educate yourself, but at this right now, 2015 or any time of year, on any year, you should be working on, or you should be setting aside a certain amount of time and to have a certain schedule of taking actions that are going to help you sustain yourself regardless of any external dependencies. Any external dependencies, including money, including electricity, including internet, including blah, 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 blah. Okay? It doesn't need to be violent. Just take positive action. Spread that, please spread that positive action to your neighbors, people. Okay? Be an example, and we'll all be better off. We'll all be more. That's homeland security, people. That's security for you and your home, your area, your region, your neighborhood, your state, your country, the world. If everyone took more personal sustainability and a more responsibility of taking care of themselves, we wouldn't have all these. You wouldn't even be worried about Jade Helm. I mean, you might peruse the information, you might peruse the news, but it wouldn't get to you. It wouldn't be like, oh crap! What if stuff goes to shit? What if there are mobs and riots and people knocking people's doors down and looting? Right? You wouldn't be thinking like that if you and everyone around you had food. So I'm gonna leave you with that. Take care of yourself and your family, your own. Think like the elites do, not in a cold sense, but just in the sense of taking care. I'm gonna do it. I want to survive, right? And thrive again. You have this food in your pantry. You'll be thriving regardless of emergency or no. Regardless of the markets, regardless of your savings, regardless of a job or employment, work or whatever, you'll be thriving. So don't just survive, thrive. Take care of yourself, people. All right, peace out. Jupiter in the 8th. Hope that was helpful.